How's it going? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're happening to catch this video. This one is a little bit shorter, but I think that you'll find it interesting and probably a little bit different. So this is a Wednesday video, so it's going to be a little bit more of my kind of shorter video focusing on a particular thought or subject that I've been, ruminating on for the past little bit. And today I'm talking about a thought that I came up with a little bit ago, and I discussed it over with a colleague pretty recently, or towards the end of last week, I guess. And that is around the current professional situation that most of us are finding ourselves in, given the current coronavirus or pandemic or quarantine or whatever, word it is. I'm not monetizing this, of course, so I don't really have to worry about using the term. But the thought that I had was so we are operating and working in such a unique time right now. It's literally in new history, right? We're living in a time of where history is being made. This kind of situation has not been seen before in our lifetime, the lifetime of our grandparents, our parents, our grandparents, their parents, right? This is completely new. And we're having to live through a professional environment that is completely different. And the thought that I had was that it might be worthwhile and perhaps even important relative to career advancement to essentially spend some time thinking through the 2 to 3 sentence story of your professional career and what it looked like and what you were doing in the midst of this pandemic. So for instance, for me, I am kind of in a unique position, right? I'm a director of facilities. And so real estate and office space and things like that are under my purview, but clearly we're in a different environment. So I have to think about, how do I communicate what it was that I was working on, what it was that I was doing in such a way that I hopefully stand out and look unique and look like I wasn't taking the situation for granted or wasn't just using the situation to do nothing, or was maybe using the situation to pursue different avenues like YouTube, and how I was using the best of my time from a professional lens in the middle of the situation. I have another friend who is ending up with more and more responsibility due to their position within a smaller company as a result of layoffs, people leaving, things like that, as a result of them walking through this. And so now he is in the position of being directly related to and responsible for at least components of how a small business is conducting itself in the middle of a pandemic. And that's the kind of experience that is unique. It is different, and it potentially could set you up for a very substantive next step, or at the very least serious conversations with leaders in other areas and other professional environments where you might run into them. And so I was thinking about that question of really, how do you put together that 2 to 3 sentences that say, this is my professional quarantine story. This is my story. And whether, for me, as I've been thinking about that, I think some elements that I want it to include are activities that I was filling my time with, responsibility that I was given or volunteered for, that relative to opportunity when it comes to planning a return to the office, that kind of thing, strategic thinking, cultural thinking. I'm trying to contribute to all those elements of the business, both, on the private side, like my side hustle side, and then also my actual career position, and asking myself, really, what are the things that I've been doing that are unique, and trying to list those out. And then also, I've been trying to think about how I can communicate it in such a way that it sounds like I can lend value to whoever I'm having a conversation with. And so, my advice for the colleague / friend that I was talking with that's in this position with a kind of a smaller business was to figure out how to share in 2 to 3 sentences. I was given more responsibility during this time. I stepped up during this time. I was able to learn and was included in more aspects of the business than I have been in the past. And I identified myself as a valuable and essential employee during this time. And I think that those elements can be really critical to presenting yourself as being substantive and being awesome during this time. So again, a little bit of food for thought. I do want to note, I recognize that there are literally millions of people who are not being given this opportunity. And so at least within their full-time career job where they're let go or furloughed or whatever it was, or whatever it is. And in those cases, first of all, my heart goes out to you. I have friends that have been affected by this. It's terrible and it sucks. But secondarily, like, hopefully you can find opportunities to advance yourself, and hopefully to fill your time with productive things, with, kind of I don't want to get caught up with the zeitgeist that these words are usually connected with, but with the kind of a wholesome, whole being approach, whether it's reading, whether it is studying on something you're interested in, whether it is, whether it's reading for pleasure or for maybe personal betterment, where it is working on side hustles or researching topics you're interested in, taking advantage of maybe part-time work, whatever it is. I just want to note that hopefully that there's something in here for you as well, despite perhaps the truly regrettable circumstances that you might be finding yourself in. So again, hopefully in general, this is something you hadn't thought about, and it could be something, that could be really positive in your career. You have been literally, hopefully, I think a lot of this is going to depend on perspective, right? Been blessed with this circumstance, and this circumstance won't come around again, at least in theory. And certainly if we look at past, how, it's not exactly every lifetime that one has such a substantive, or has more than one substantive life-changing experience or circumstance within the world. And so I think it's important that we be asking ourselves, how do we leverage that communication, and how do we allow ourselves to take 1, 2, or 3 steps forward in the middle of this situation, given I think the default can so easily be to do nothing, to maybe get caught up with things that don't matter, get caught up with discussions and debates that maybe don't matter, or at least as of right now, and maybe try and focus on something that's more positive, more developmental, and maybe more productive. So that's my thought for the week. Let me know, if you figure out what your 2 to 3 sentences are, please put them down in the comments. I would love to hear it. It'd be super interesting. If you enjoyed this thought, if it's the kind of thing that you find interesting, please give the video a thumbs up, like and subscribe. To be honest, I've been thinking about that a lot, and maybe I should save this for a Monday video, but I'll give you the sneak peek. I've been thinking about that a lot, about the whole like and subscribe, and I appreciate the likes on the video because I think that then helps communicate to other people that it's worth watching. As far as the subscribe thing goes, maybe you're just here for this one topic, and if that's the case, then I get it. But if you're interested in kind of regular feedback and regular videos and information and thoughts that are in this similar vein, then I think that's where a subscribe probably would be more helpful. So as opposed to just like, you're here, like and subscribe. So anyway, probably more on that in the future. But I hope you're having a wonderful middle of your week. And if you're catching this later, then I hope you're having an awesome end to your week. And I look forward to next Monday. I am going to try and flesh out some more content. And so I'm interested to see how it goes. Take care and do well. Pursue intellectual recognizance.